You said you like to work with entrepreneurs. I want to get some tips from you for how people that are starting to build their brand, that have a brand, that want to do something more, maybe are on a budget, can't afford someone like you. What can you suggest for them to get started and to really get out there?
Well, everybody can do PR. Like you said, you can do it yourself. So I always tell people, like, the first thing I always ask any of my clients is, the 5 finger rule is find 5 things that relate to you that have nothing to do with what you are doing. So you like yoga, you like charity, you like, I don't know, whatever else. Pick out 5 things. And for each of those 5 things, go on Google, find the top 10 outlets for each one of those 5 things. So the top 10 yoga magazines or media outlets, the top 10 charity things that relate to whatever charity. Find that list. Now you have 50 things, 50 outlets. For each one of those, find, 10 different reporters at each outlet. Get their email. Go on a creeping spree. Go find their Instagram, their Facebook, LinkedIn, whatever it is. Make a whole Excel sheet of all these different things and, yoga, this magazine, all these editors or writers. And what you do is you then form your pitch. Hey, I'm so-and-so. This is what I'm about. This is what I'm doing. This is how this ties into that. And send out those emails. Blast it. Come up with a fake email. Say your name is, Mike at, Rachel.com, whatever, right? I'm the publicist for Rachel. Meanwhile, it's just you. Blast it out. Play your own publicist. And hopefully out of those 50 people that you're calling, 50 outlets times, the 10 on each, hopefully 1 or 2 get back to you. Once you get the 1 or 2, do the interviews, do the feature, then use that link to go back to all of them again and say, hey, we just did this. We'd love to talk more in depth. And you kind of build your own brand further and further up. So, I mean, you could do that on your own. Or, you come to a company like us if you can budget it, and we plan it out 3 months, 4 months, 5 months, a year, whatever it is, and get you the media because we have those. It's pretty much you're paying us for the strategy and the contacts, our time, and we'll do it for you. Or luckily, a little plug here is our to show how fake some media can be is. We just launched a platform about a year ago where we have about 500 different media outlets and this is all real news, that you can come and from any budget from $1,000 to, $50,000 to $75,000, you can have a story written about you on any of these media outlets for a pay-to-pay kind of thing. So you want to be on Rolling Stone and Rolling Stone saying that you are the best singer, Rachel? All right, for $3,000-$4,000, we can get that done. And so look for things like that where you can just be like, okay, maybe I don't need a whole strategy. I just want a whole one article that talks about how I'm amazing. Great. Let's do it. Let's do one article.
But I've always wondered about that. Are those in a section that says advertisement or paid advertising? So no one knows.
No one knows. So that's the thing, is like, you got to be careful too. A lot of people that get featured, look if it says contributor, look if it says ad, look if it says sponsored. If it says that, pretty much it's like buying an advertising page somewhere.
Yeah.
But a lot of writers, and this is off the record here, well, on the record with you, but a lot of writers during COVID, got cut. A lot of writers, aren't getting paid. AI has come in and replaced a lot of writers. So for the right cost and the right price, people will push your story ahead of others. And that's not to say that they're doing something wrong, but you just figure, like, somebody at Vanity Fair is getting, tens of thousands of pitches a day. Now, if I throw a little bit of money that way, or maybe I give them another story of another client of mine and be like, hey, I'll give you a story with George Clooney. If you throw 3 of my other clients in, they'll say, okay. And you kind of leverage and you work that way. But there's always a way. If you have money, you can get anything done. That's why it's always funny seeing, if you got lots of money, you can get the media to say whatever you want. That's why you don't always believe the media. Don't believe reality TV. Don't believe the media, always.
Well, that's a very good point that you said, because I think people really think that if a journalist writes that it's fact, they don't know how to decipher what, opinion from fact, and also things that are being paid. To go back really quickly to what you were saying before about how people can pretend to be their PR person for themselves. I mean, we now know from some documentaries and things about even Donald Trump that he used to do that. He would impersonate other people as his own publicist. And clearly, like him or hate him, we see that it did work for him because he became the president of the United States after all that happened. So I think that was very interesting, and it does work for some people.
But I think as we go forward, as much as, we can, the media, sometimes you can't say if it's, opinion or fact.
Mhm.
But at the end of the day, I think where the reality sets in and what a lot of people need to realize is you need the media doesn't need you. You
Mm.
need them to get you the word out to spread whatever message or branding about yourself. So it doesn't matter if what they're writing is fake or opinion or paid for or whatever. At the end of the day, you need them. They're a channel, like you need Instagram to brand, as you need other social things to brand. You need the media. And it's when people start getting on their high horse where they're like, I don't need the media. Well, how are you going to promote that film? How are you going to promote that music? How are you going to get the word out to people? If you don't have the social channels, you don't have the media, nobody know about you, right?
Right, exactly. You talked about how you have the ability to sort of create something out of nothing. I want to talk about Chesney McGoat because that I think is an example of that, right? But also, before you get into that, I think I've seen on Netflix or something shows where they take three people and they decide to make them famous. Do you know what I'm talking about? And they just see if it's possible to pick someone with a look, a personality, and if you give them all the tools, if they can become famous. So tell people what Chesney McGoat is, how you came up with that, how that became so popular.
Oh, that was, and a lot of my friends in Nashville that are actually real musicians and clients, they hate this because they're like, dude, we've been working for 10 plus years and you were able to
Right.
do this in a second. So Chesney McGoat, for people that don't know, is I can't sing. I am tone deaf. I am terrible. Happy birthday is as far as I go. I was in the studio with a client of mine and I was just making a joke saying, I wish I could sing because if I could sing, I'd make myself famous. And the producer said, dude, I can make you sound good. I was like, no way. So he's like, yeah, let me prove it to you. So we recorded a song, terrible vocals, by the way, but a lot of auto tune and all this. And we came up with this song. And I said, you know what? I'm going to prove to people that without any talent, I am worse than any singer out there. I can make myself famous within 3 weeks. I can get on the top of the charts around the world within 3 weeks. And so what I did is I was like, but I don't want people to know it's me because if they know it's me, they're going to know it's PR and it's a PR
Yeah.
stunt, everything like that. So I had a client of mine that does costumes and stuff. They created this big, giant goat mask for me, kind of like a masked singer.
Mhm.
And I went on, I was like, okay, I'm a goat. What's the first thing to connect with people? It's charity. So I was like, you know what? I have good relationships with PETA. We're going to save the goats. Doing goat yoga is actually bad for goats, believe it or not. That's a real fact. It hurts the goats. They actually kill the goats after they're not cute anymore and they can't do it. It's really bad.
Oh,
Um,
terrible.
yeah, so I was like, you know what? That's a good cause that people don't know about, but a lot of celebs do goat yoga. So I was like, you know what? I'm going to, threaten a lawsuit against all the celebrities that have done goat yoga before. So I did Khloe Kardashian, Maren Morris, who was it? Kevin Hart, other people. And all of a sudden, that was the headline making news. Chesney McGoat sues Khloe Kardashian for doing goat yoga. Wow. And it was only for $5,000. And it was like, okay, but there's your clickbait title that every news outlet wants to talk about because it's not something you read every day.